Hello, class. So this is my weekly video for this week. I make a video every week on dealing with new and interesting topics in the world of science. It's usually chemistry related. I try often to do it in sort of the medicine, because many of you are nursing majors. But I have interest in other things. I like a lot of things, and chemistry is a very broad topic. Chemistry is a study of matter, and matter includes things like pharmaceuticals, and pharmaceuticals are very important to our medical technology. So today I'm going to talk about how artificial intelligence is taking over pharmaceutical research. It's not really taking over; it's a tool that we use now. So this video disclaimer, I'm going to go a little longer than normal. I'll try to make it on the order of 5 minutes ish, but I'll probably go a little longer this time, like I said, because this is the first video. And also with these videos, this is my structured interaction between faculty and students to you guys, and then there's structured interaction student in terms of starting a discussion. I don't grade the discussion. So it's mandatory, but it's not graded, if that makes sense. The introduction form, though, is mandatory, so please do that. I use that to track your attendance, among other things. Also, make sure you are in the right class, because I don't want you to waste your time. I don't want you to waste the whole semester taking this class. Like, whoops, I didn't need this class. So that's the purpose behind that. And besides, introduce yourself. Also, be sure to register for Mastering Chemistry. So some emails I'm getting from students, you do need to register for Mastering Chemistry. About the textbook, it's up to you if you want to buy the textbook or not. If you like physical books, I would just buy an earlier edition. So they don't change. Tro doesn't change his books very much. I've reviewed a couple of his books. He doesn't change them all that much. But you do need to have Mastering Chemistry, because that's the homework platform. You can just follow the links within Canvas. The homework links will bring you through to Access Pearson to go through how you can get access to the class. And I don't provide that. You have to purchase it. But anyways, back to artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a type of machine learning where computers take lots of data and they predict next step. And I'm very overly simplified and generalizing it. So we are not artificial intelligences. We are biological intelligences. But artificial intelligence, it also doesn't exist very long. So large language models like ChatGPT, people are familiar with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not sitting there and thinking about things. ChatGPT exists only when you ask it a question. That's when the artificial intelligence comes through. It's a program. It looks at a bunch of data and then it puts out a result. It's predicting what you want to hear. So it's really good at that. It's a very intuitive way of programming. It looks at a lot of things and it can push things out. So for instance, if you ask ChatGPT if it's sentient, it'll probably say yes. But ChatGPT is not sentient. My cats are more sentient than ChatGPT. ChatGPT only exists when you ask it its question, and then it turns off and does not exist anymore. So we don't have AI that is constantly on, constantly thinking, constantly learning yet. So we're working on that. That's the next thing. But right now, artificial intelligence is that. And then also artificial intelligence can produce things called hallucinations. So it can come up with things that are not there, or that are just outright wrong. So some lawyers, for instance, were using ChatGPT in a case, or I don't know if it was ChatGPT, it was some large language model, and then it came up with citations for cases that just didn't exist. And that's an example of a hallucination. Another hallucination is like you might ask ChatGPT what 3 plus 3 is, and ChatGPT might say 33. Because that makes sense. So like, oh, what are these two numbers? Like, and it kind of looks at a lot of things, and it might tell you that. Like, so AI is not necessarily doing outright doing calculations. So that's another example of a hallucination. There are a lot of things. It's kind of fun listening to some of these hallucination stories from AI. But AI is really good at predicting next steps. And I'll go over this a little bit later in the article. But one of the ways that we're using AI in drugs is for things like antivirals. So these artificial intelligences are good at looking for molecules that can interrupt proteins and might be able to, and especially those proteins, interfere with something like a virus's life cycle, for instance. One of our most common antivirals are things called protease inhibitors. So viruses, when they infect a cell, the viruses turn the cell into a virus-making factory. And then there's this long ribbon of nucleic acid, so DNA or RNA, and then there's this enzyme. It's kind of like disc-shaped, and the nucleic acid string goes into this disc, and the disc kind of clips it into smaller segments that becomes the hereditary material for new viruses. And that enzyme that clips the long strands of nucleic acids, that's called a protease enzyme. And protease inhibitors, they are molecules that usually sit inside of, usually in the middle of the enzyme there, that prevent it from functioning. Then, because it interferes with the virus's life cycle, and then it can help the patient recover from the virus. So this is common. There are HIV drugs that do this. The Pfizer COVID drug, I think it's Proplaxid or something. I forget the exact name, but that's a protease inhibitor. And AI is great for that. It can look for those molecules on the side. So one of the things, though, AI is not replacing humans yet, and I don't think they ever will, to be honest with you. There's more AI is just used to help things along. And this is where AI can be used for. So the protein-involved disease pathways. So like I mentioned, this goes on hand in hand with the target proteins with like, for instance, a protease inhibitor. And AI might say, like, hey, if you look to the side of the molecule, you might be able to go there and change the shape of the molecule a little bit. So that's rather than just looking in the middle. That's where, hit in the bullseye. Why hit in the bullseye when I can hit it on the side? So, scale up. So what do we mean by scale up? So once you figure out a drug will work, you have to scale it up. And this is for any product, though. So imagine you're making cookies. Okay, so if you ever make cookies at home, you take all the ingredients, you put it into a mixing bowl, you mix them together, and you take little spoonfuls of cookie dough, and you put them on to a cookie tray. You put it in the oven. You wait a little bit. You take it out of the oven. You scrape the cookies off of the cookie tray. And is that how you make cookies mass-produced in like the grocery store? And the answer is no. No, they don't. They have these big mix machines. You usually get raw materials from a vendor. You're not cracking eggs. You don't have an army of people cracking eggs. You get like this egg mixture that comes in a truckload, and then that goes into a tank that gets siphoned into this big mixing tank and makes a batch, and then it pushes the slurry of cookie dough through an extrusion machine, and it pushes them out into the right size of cookies, and then the cookie dough is on a conveyor belt, and then it goes under a heat lamp and gets cooked, and then it falls down onto another conveyor belt, which gets sent to packaging, right? So that's the example of a mass-produced. So, but the difference between making a cookie in the kitchen is very different than the way that a mass-produced cookie factory makes it. So let's say I'm trying to optimize a cookie process, and let's say I mess up and I burn a big batch of cookies. I might lose 1,000 pounds of cookies, and that's an expensive endeavor. So what I do instead is I use something smaller called a pilot plant, where it has a smaller mixed tank and then the conveyor belts and that kind of thing, and I have some heat lamps. So then I know, okay, this is how long I need to make the cookie dough. This is how long I need to agitate the tank. This is how long I need to keep the cookies under the heat lamp, and this kind of thing. So that way, when I finally optimize a process in the pilot plant and I scale up again to the mass-produced, I'm still going to make some mistakes, but the idea is that once I've got the process optimized on a smaller scale, it's easy to scale up to the big scale. this is where AI can help you. So as you're tweaking the process, both in the pilot plants and in the scale up, the AI with all the data, like, hey, maybe you should put it in this way. Maybe you shouldn't exactly go with what the pilot plant said, since it's a bigger vat. Maybe you should only mix it for 3 minutes instead of 5. I'm just making these numbers up, but that's the idea of what AI can do. So AI helps with that, and also in human clinical trials. So we still need this. I mean, to make the drugs, they not only have to change the protein, but they have to be able to be delivered to the human. So they have to be soluble. They have to not harm the human, right? So, I mean, what's the point of curing the disease if you kill the patient? So, or give the patient a worse disease. So it's important to have that. So then that's the reason why we have clinical trials. But AI can help you with this. Maybe get the right demographic set of data points and make it faster. So that's the idea with that. So AI, you can see where it's putting itself in, but humans still have a role, and it doesn't work without humans. So like I said, AI is not, it's not like Skynet. If you like the Terminator series, I like the Terminator series. So AI only exists when we ask it a question, and we use it as a tool. It's really a tool. It can't replace humans yet, but it's nice. I mean, humans working together with AI are very productive. So, and this is where I see the future of work is going to be with that, is that we need to interact more and more with AI and use AI for things. But this goes in how AI and machine learning is going through that, and here are some of the history and stories of this. And I think this is interesting, and I'm not afraid. I think it's great. I mean, why not come up with better drugs that work differently, and then we can do it in a more quickly and efficient fashion, and also scale up. Why can't we make scale up better and more efficient and cause less waste? So these are all good things to me. So, but this is what you're going to see as you enter the industry. You'll see this more and more. So I hope you enjoy the article. I hope it helps you think about the material and think about how it relates to your own interests and your own profession. And I hope it inspires you. But also with my correspondence with you, we are not artificial intelligences, we are biological intelligences. And biological intelligences like us are awesome, but we also have some flaws. I don't know if you call them flaws, but we need to eat, we need shelter, we need safe housing, so we have basic needs. Some of us also, a large number actually, on the order of 1/3 to 1/4 of people deal with anxiety and or depression. So we can deal with crippling mental health issues. And I want you to succeed in this class. I want you to succeed in life, but you can't do it if you don't have your basic needs being met. And you can't do it if you're dealing with crippling mental health issues. So if that's the case, please feel free to reach out to me. I have a pretty vast network of contacts, and especially with the university, we can help you out. So if this ever happens, please feel free to reach out to me. I will do what I can to help. And I do mean that. And unfortunately, the students that do reach out is usually among the stressful times of the class. But that makes sense. That stress just breeds more of the crises. But that's fine. It's understandable. The offer is through the entire semester, not just during the stressful times. So if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out to me. I will do what I can to help. I'm not doing this job because I like to have people suffer. I do it because I like to inspire and I like to help. So I hope you feel both inspired, loved, and I hope you don't need to feel helped. But if you do need help, I am here to help. So, well, with that, I am going to close because I've probably talked too long. And I hope you find this interesting. And I hope you have the nice rest of the week. And I think Monday is a holiday. Yes, Monday's a holiday. So, although class is still ongoing, so either rest and relax or do more chemistry. So whatever your pleasure is. So Goodbye for now.